Good stuff.
So,
That's good.
hey, the Raiders are now 2-7, and Pete Carroll said some things after the game about how they tried to get the running game going, that is something that Pete had told Chip Kelly, the offensive coordinator, to do. They just couldn't score points. And you mentioned that Pete Carroll should get extra consideration when it's time to go or not go to Canton because he's trying this reclamation project in Las Vegas. We got to give Sean Payton a little credit, too. He's got this reclamation project working in Denver in his third season, a team that had basically fallen apart in the years after they won Super Bowl 50. But I wonder, and I said this yesterday, and I don't think Tommy was in the building last night. I didn't see him. I didn't see any clone dogs running around on the field before the game. I don't think he was there. If he was hiding. Maybe he was the guy in the Broncos face paint drinking the beer. I don't know. Maybe he had a really good disguise. But I just wonder, as this season continues to disintegrate, and maybe he didn't go because he didn't want to experience it firsthand. Like after the Chiefs game, he said, that's it, I'm done. I just wonder how the coaching staff will change after this season. And there's been some talk, and I don't know what's accurate or not. Tom Brady's not going to text me and tell me, and I don't have the keys to the inner sanctum. But if Chip Kelly is a Brady guy, and I don't know. I don't know how this all plays out after the season. But Pete Carroll was one and done 31 years ago with the Jets. And we see one and done. Like when one and done happens, we're like, oh, my God, I can't believe it. And then I pull up our story with all the one and dones from the past 10 years. It's like, hell, it happens a lot. I just don't know where this is going for the Raiders. And I wonder what Tom Brady thinks, because I know this. Mark Davis, and for a guy who on the surface looks like he has very little self-awareness, he has extreme self-awareness as it relates to football. He knows he doesn't know a damn thing about it. He knows he needs someone to tell him what he should do. And I think Tom Brady's going to be the guy who goes and says to Mark Davis, we need this, we need that, we need this, we need that. And one of the things that Brady may say is, hey, we tried it with Pete. We need someone else. And I'm not advocating. I'm just trying to read tea leaves here.
Yeah, I would say I think you're going down the right path. I would be surprised if Pete goes the one and done route with the Raiders, but I would not be surprised if Chip Kelly is a one and done with the Raiders. Did it strike you as odd last week? I mean, and you hear a lot of comments before games. Everybody praises one another. Whoever's playing this week, you know, this opponent, our opponent is great. The Panthers play the Saints, and I'm sure Dave Canales was saying wonderful things about Kellen Moore. He's won one game, but they've got a great team, a great franchise. Mickey Loomis in the front office. They all praise each other before the game. That's just what happens in the NFL. But did it strike you as odd when Pete Carroll not only praised Jacksonville and Liam Cohen, he said he comes from the coaching tree that I respect the most. And he talked about Sean McVay and LaFleur and all these guys. Well, Chip Kelly does not come from that coaching tree. And so I thought it was interesting that he would talk about this, not only this opposing coach, but the coaching tree that he's from as his offense is struggling. Now, they didn't struggle last week. They did a good job most of the game. You know, Brock Bowers had 3 touchdowns. They had some really explosive plays offensively. But the week before, they got shut out by Kansas City. So I wonder if Pete is looking at it and thinking, Tom Brady, in your travels, Tom, as a Fox analyst, have you tampered with any up and coming?
Oh, no. Have you seen? Hey, it's one of the
McVay disciples.
It's one of the benefits. It's one of the benefits of being down there on the field. We heard so much talk about production meetings and being in facilities. No, it's being on the field before the game. There is incredible value, and you can talk to people about who's really making this thing go and what's really going on here. And, yeah, that's an excellent observation. I hadn't thought of that that Pete Carroll may have been taking a little bit of a passive-aggressive swipe at Chip Kelly, but it underscores my point that I feel like it's not sustainable between the two of them. And frankly, between the two, all due respect to Chip Kelly, I'm keeping Pete Carroll. I'm keeping Pete Carroll.
Of course.
Because Pete Carroll has accomplished things in the NFL. Chip Kelly has accomplished nothing. Yeah, he took the Eagles to the playoffs that first year, but this revolutionary offense that he brought from Oregon didn't do jack diddly squat. And one of the big themes in the aftermath of his time with the Eagles was, and Jeffrey Lurie explained after he fired Chip Kelly, we're prioritizing emotional intelligence in our coaching process, which is basically saying Chip Kelly doesn't have any. And then he goes to San Francisco for a year. He's one of the coaches that was one and done. They went from, after they fired Harbaugh, who was 4 and done, to Jim Tomsula 1 and done, Chip Kelly 1 and done. That's when Jed York made it clear to everyone, you can't fire the owner, so there. But Chip Kelly has done nothing to prove that he's got NFL chops. I was surprised they hired him. And again, was it a Brady hire? Was it a Brady recommendation? I don't know. But I feel like when this season ends, one of those two guys is going to be gone between Carroll and Kelly. And my guess is it is going to be Kelly.
Yeah, I think so, Mike. And you point out Chip Kelly's arc, his story arc in the NFL. And I don't know if people remember how crazy it got in Philadelphia. It got to the point where Chip Kelly, do you remember who Chip Kelly got into a power struggle with and won temporarily? He got into a power struggle with
Howie Roseman out of the building.
Howie Roseman, right.
He was out of the building.
Right. So he tries to, he wanted to take over. He wanted to take over personnel. Now you think about that now and you look at it and say, what? Chip Kelly over Howie Roseman? No, you take Howie Roseman 100 times out of 100 and you see what he has built and the vision that he has. I mean, he's so far ahead of the game, Roseman is. And so Kelly went from a point where he was winning a power struggle in Philadelphia to being really an afterthought in San Francisco, going back to college, and now coming back to the pros as an OC. I know the Raiders are limited, but they're not so limited that they should have performances like this over a 3 or 4 game stretch. Yeah, the Jacksonville game was great, but a shutout against Kansas City and 7 points last night when you got a healthy Brock Bowers back with you, you should be able to muster a little bit more than his offense has mustered this year. They look like they don't have a clue, Mike.
And bad news for anyone out there who was constantly complaining about last night's game. We see the Raiders on Monday Night Football in Week 11. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.